All right, well, welcome, and my pleasure to introduce our speakers today. Some of you may recall from our speaker in September, Kirsten Ellenbogen from the Great Lakes Science Center spoke about the importance of libraries in our community and how they really are, just so foundational and accessible, and how important that is, not only in terms of literacy, but in terms of binding a community together as well. So today we have a presentation that is put together by the group ICANN, which is the Independently Cooperating Ashtabula Network. And our speakers are Joe Zapatello from Harbor Topkey Memorial Public Library and Grand River Academy, Dee Culbertson from Henderson Memorial Public Library, Janice Dispens from Rock Creek Public Library, Susan Hill from Andover Public Library, Mariana Branch from the Kingsville Public Library, and Kathy Zapatello from the Conneaut Public Library. So, we have a saying as well that we use a lot at the leadership office. When something comes up and we say, oh gosh, we need a hand with that, or we need this information, go to the librarians, because they are always ready with not only what we need to bridge the gap in information-wise, but also with a lot of creative perspectives on how we can do some things differently. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our librarians.
All right, I'll take it from there. Thank you. Laura, I'm so glad that you mentioned the director of the Great Lakes Science Center, because I thought about that when I was coming up with this introduction. Mariana Branch and I, we sat in the back in that September profile breakfast. And as Kirsten, referenced libraries and librarians several times, there was a ripple of heads that would turn, and their eyes looked at us, and it was like a visual high five. And I was feeling it, and we left feeling really good that day, because, we know what we do every day in the libraries, but to hear other professionals say that it made an impact in my life, it structured who we were as a family. We know that, but I love it when other people say it. So that was a great profile breakfast, and it really helps us launch into Ashtabula County and talking about our libraries and what we've been doing. So, I have to say, we're just not about the books, okay? We go well beyond our walls, and I want you to leave here today thinking about libraries as a dynamic organization, okay? So that's going to be your takeaway. But I'm really super tired. Just returned not only from a honeymoon, but from the Association for Rural and Small Library, our annual conference, which was in Fargo, North Dakota. So, traveled to Fargo. It was in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas last year. So, at this conference, I was elected officially to the Rural and Small Library Board. So, it is a national organization that I'm very happy to be a part of. But, it's important to know this, because small and rural libraries make up the overwhelming majority of libraries in the United States, in Canada, and especially, in Ohio and Ashtabula County. A lot of times when we think about our county and how spread out we are, and you look at a map with all of the dots of all of the libraries, in the county, and you think, wow, that's a lot of libraries. How does that work? Why do we have all of that? Well, of course, there's a history that goes along with it, but I want you to know that there's also a structure and support put in place that Ashtabula County has been recognized in doing really good work that's being replicated nationally. And those are some of the things that you're going to hear today during this presentation. So we're super proud of it. So don't look at this as a problem or a challenge. It's actually something that's being celebrated and supported. And it's very strong, a strong network across the United States.
So when we talk about this, we also have to remember our rich history in Ashtabula County in education. When the pioneers came here 200 years ago, education was their top priority. Our earliest libraries were opening in 1815 in Harpersfield, 1816 in Conneaut. And there's even during the Civil War years, our famous author from Ashtabula County, Albion Tourget, who was also an abolitionist. The people were so proud here in the county that they said that they had the highest literacy rate in the Union. So you can see the pride there in this. So it's not surprising that There are so many independent libraries in the Western Reserve. And not only does that include Ashtabula County, but it includes Trumbull County, Lake County, and Cuyahoga County. So we have a short video for you to watch so we can see all the unique things happening in our libraries.
Bye, sit down.
So we have a really hard time not dancing up here to that music. It's like the 5th time we've seen that video, but it's really exciting. But before we get to all the neat and wonderful things happening in libraries, we have to start with library funding because it seems to be a mystery to a lot of people. So, you know, libraries receive 49% of their funding from the state of Ohio, from the General Revenue Fund. And our fund is called the Public Library Fund. So you'll hear it called the PLF many, many times. So you can go to the next slide there. And we are not a line item in the General Revenue Fund. We're very similar to the local government fund. We're a flat percentage out of the big pot of money that comes into the state that is paid through sales tax and income tax. And currently our percentage is 1.7%. We are a little different, though, than local government funds, schools, counties. We don't receive any money from the 4 casinos in the state. And you can see that our funding has ebbed and flowed just like it has for many other different agencies. So currently we're running at 1997 funding levels. You can see that in the graph there. So all of this money that is coming from the General Revenue Fund comes into our state auditor's office, and then it is sent to each individual library, and that is based on a flat percentage rate. So we wanted to show you how the monies are coming into Ashtabula County and distributed. So libraries have become, much more independent or dependent, on our communities because we all need help with our funding because of these ebbs and flows. So currently, out of 251 libraries, only 61 in the state of Ohio do not have levies at this time. So we all have the support of our communities, which is a wonderful thing. There are many benefits that we all enjoy from our libraries. We all know about those benefits like checking out materials, being able to download items, go to fantastic programming, our children's programs for literacy. But we really want to focus on the economic impact that libraries make in our communities. We want to talk about that return on the investment. So as you can see here from that beautiful graphic, for $1 spent by an Ohio public library, the return is $5.48 back into the community. So I hope you agree that's a wonderful return on investment. And this study was done recently by the Ohio Library Council. So let's talk about how this works. So you have a family and they've come into the library, they've checked out a few DVDs, they didn't have to pay for that through Redbox. Maybe they don't have cable TV, they're saving some money there because they know that we have the latest TV series. We also have newspapers and magazines, so you can stop paying for those magazine subscriptions, check it out from your library. So this really adds a little bit of more money into that family's pocket. So what are they going to do with that little bit of extra money they have? They may go out to eat with their family. They may have those car repairs done that they've been saving up for that are really important. Or they might just have a little bit more money to spend at the grocery store. So all this comes back into the community. And what's really wonderful is when you look at the total dollars added up, there's a $2.7 billion investment there that is coming back into the state of Ohio. So we really want to focus on that return on investment. So you may wonder, how do libraries accomplish so much? So I'm going to pass it along to Susan here, and she's going to help us out with that.
Thank you very much. Well, this ICANN acronym is Independently Cooperating Ashtabula Network. And through cooperation, the smallest libraries in the county have been able to offset the huge diminution of our public library fund. Back in 2007 and 2008, when our library at Andover did not have $1 for books, we had only enough to just get along in 96 funding level at that time. We were so glad that donations from our community gave us enough money to continue our book purchasing. And then this connection with our community became a connection among the 6 libraries in the county: Andover, Conneaut, Henderson, we have Harbor Topkey, Rock Creek, and Kingsville. We banded together, and not only did we start sharing a catalog, but we also started talking about other kinds of assets that we could bring to our county for our patrons in spite of our flat budgets, I should say sunk budgets. We joined CleveNet as a group. CleveNet is a nationally recognized library network across the whole of Northeast Ohio, providing over 10 million items, and that's 65,000 ebooks, that's now available to every single patron of all 6 ICANN libraries. Happy to say Geauga County Libraries are joining CleveNet with us in the very near future, giving us neighboring libraries that everyone's library card in ICANN will work in all over the Northeast Ohio. So a person from Parma who's swimming in Pymatuning Lake can use their Parma CleveNet library card to check out or return books at Andover, Conneaut, Kingsville, Rock Creek libraries. And so that is the story of our joining of CleveNet, and we think it would be to the advantage of every person in Ashtabula County if the whole county were actually members of CleveNet. And so that's just a little opinion I'm throwing in there. Now, CleveNet isn't only about books and items and ebooks. It is also about additional databases that we would never, ever be able to afford as a library with 6 FTE. How could I afford $100,000 worth of databases? So Joe is going to talk about the databases we have.
All the databases are free. Like Susan had said, if you would try to purchase these individually, it would run you about $100,000. Consumer reports, I think everybody's familiar with consumer reports. The digital online version you can have on your phone, on your tablet. You can take it pretty much anywhere with you, just like the print copy. More than one person can view that at a time. And with the holidays coming up and the tech and the gadget edition coming out, you can find out which Samsung product will catch on fire and which one won't. Ancestry.com, we've all seen the commercials on TV. The edition that is included for the library is free, of course. Gives you access to about 4,000 genealogical databases. A lot of people have come into the library, found some family background, and then scheduled a trip to actually see where family roots are, which I think is a pretty cool a trip with a little bit more purpose than, you know, just wanting to see a new area.
Jeez.
All data, think of Chilton's. I've tried to do things beyond change my oil on my car and things like that. It didn't really work out great. The All Data provides diagnostic maps, step-by-step instructions. People are trying to fix their vehicles, but they're also, if you've got a car in the garage, a Plymouth Fury, a Cobra, one of those projects that you're working on to refurb, this is a good tool for that as well. And they go back as far as the early 60s. The last that I'll talk about, the Academic Search Premier. 3,000 journal subscriptions, business, law, medical, scholarly contributions, quantifiable data for academia, professionals, and entrepreneurs. I think that's where Susan.
Got a video, don't we?
The American Library Association has a campaign this year, Libraries Transform Their Communities, and our community transforms the library. The 5 E's of transformation: entrepreneurship, employment, engagement, education, and empowerment for our communities are things that we bring to everybody in the county. I'd like to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. Well, I'm pretending I'm saying that, but
before I walked into the public library downtown, I knew nothing about 3D printing.
John had emailed us with the idea of 3D printing a beer tap in the shape of the terminal tower.
We kind of told him some of the ideas that we wanted. She printed out a couple of options, and this is what we settled on. Completely shocked when we went down there, especially with the final product.
We are changing how people view libraries. We're no longer just a place for books.
The library in and of itself is a great resource. With technology, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
well, that was Cleveland Public Library's technology area, but one of the really great strengths of small libraries distributed throughout the county with different directors and different movers and shakers within them is that we can get grants, we can partner with our community to bring special things we couldn't afford from our public library fund into the library. Andover Public Library is really fortunate that we have a 3D printer. Every one of you is welcome to come, not only to see, but to use. We'll show you how to manage the free software to create something for your business, and we will show you how much it costs, which is very little. It's 10 cents a gram for the fiber, and we will demonstrate some of the other technology toys that are available for your children or parents, people who are interested in STEAM, that is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. I always want to say medicine because I was in a medical library. But we, at Andover, this is very quick, we did partner with our 4th grade last year, and Nancy Logan, our technology trainer at Andover Public Library, printed a 3D figure for 80 students. That is, every single student in the 4th grade who wrote their own book. We bound the book, they illustrated the book, and then they made a finale where they presented their book to parents and teachers at our Veterans Auditorium. That we did running that 3D printer, which we got on a grant, almost 24. Nancy it almost killed Nancy, but we did create a figure, the character of the book for every single student. And now we have that printer available that for your entrepreneurship, if you want to make a prototype, But we don't just have 3D printer, we have a table of toys that we're inviting you to see, and Nancy and the other librarians here will be available to tell you the kinds of things they have available for children, and of course for adults. All the libraries do help with their personal devices, getting email. So if you give your parent or cousin a Kindle Fire, all the libraries have staff trained to help with it and to have the patience, not like the patience of your 8-year-old who tells you how to do it in about 2 seconds. We know how to talk to adult learners. Did I forget something? No, please. Technology, video. Have I forgotten something?
Keep going, Nancy. We're good.
Nancy, you got
No, we got the video.
Next, yep.
Yep, next.
Keep going.
That one. Then employment.
Back in December of 2014, was unemployed and needed help finding a job. So I heard about some programs offered at the county library with plus 40 job seeking workshops, resume workshops, LinkedIn for beginners. My experience in those workshops led to one-on-one counseling, interviews, and eventually a job. When you're, job seeking and you're unemployed, it's like lonely and isolating, and you go to these workshops and you're around other job seekers. It helps you stay connected. I was surprised at the quality of the workshops, but the quality of the staff. I think I was surprised at the level of expertise I found at the library. When I was working with a library staff member, she was very professional, and she shared a lot of tips with me from her own experience, but she gave me very specific coaching that put me in a place to find a job. The library was not a place I thought of right away, but it turned out being the best place for my job search.
The second E after entrepreneurship is employment. And one thing the ICANN libraries are doing is having in-service training for staff members in Ohio Means Jobs website. Ohio Means Jobs has revitalized their website in the last year, and it is amazing how many parts of that website are available for people to see. People exploring on their own don't often find these things, and all of the staff are being trained to help people make their resume, find the practice interviews on this website, and really enrich our patrons, not only the employees, but the employers who are working in this county. That's all I have to say about that. The next word is engagement.
Is there a video?
Yes.
I see libraries as not just a critical place for learning, but a critical place for community. 1 in 5 residents of our state are food insecure, which means that they don't always know where their next meal is coming from. Being able to partner with libraries to get that food out is a wonderful win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. We have the food, and they have the patrons who need it. It doesn't matter if you live in a city, out in the inner suburbs, or out in a rural area. Hunger is everywhere, and families across our country are struggling. And so libraries are ideal partners in this work because libraries are everywhere too. One of the things that we love about working with our local libraries is how creative and open they are to new ideas. So we're doing a variety of programs with our library partners. Everything from free lunches for low-income children in the summertime to bags of produce that seniors can take home from a local library branch if they're in need. It's an amazing partnership.
Okay.
Okay, so libraries engage their communities. We go beyond our walls to provide assistance and education to all patrons. Through our outreach and partnerships with local and county agencies, we're able to reach a large number of people outside of the library. Some of the partnerships and collaborations that we're very happy to be a part of is our partnership with Country Neighbor and Community Action, where we provide the Lunch and Library program. That's a program where we provide library materials to senior citizens who get their meals from Meals on Wheels, so that they don't have to come into the library. Also, as in the video, you saw that a lot of libraries offer summer food programs. The ICANN libraries have been a part of the summer food programs, and this past summer, many of the ICANN libraries have served almost 3,000 meals to children through the summer foods program. Some of the other outreach programs that we do, we work with Ashcraft, KSU, the English Festival. We have done things with APL. We've had senior proms, the Literacy Coalition, the WIC, Lunch and Library, Head Start, Help Me Grow, the YMCA, Goodwill, United Way, Community Action, local senior centers and nursing homes, the local food pantries, local schools, of course, preschools, homeschool groups, daycares, the OSU Extension Office, 4-H, the Youth Opportunity Program, AARP, Historical Societies, and the Master Gardeners programs, to name a few. I'm sure that there's a lot that I have forgotten. Libraries engage their communities by providing free meeting room spaces available for all groups, clubs, and organizations to use. Libraries partner with their school and their community organizations to help with volunteer and community service programs. And libraries also engage their communities by providing things such as passports, notary services, faxing, scanning, copying, and many other services. So not only do libraries engage, but we also educate.
Libraries play an integral role in the educating of our kids. Pre-kindergarten is such an important opportunity for kids, and our libraries can really help us to develop pre-kindergarten skills with our students in many different ways.
I was very concerned about him going to kindergarten. Not the aspect of learning, but it taught them how to get in line, which my son had no idea how to do that. It taught him how to, you raise your hand when you want to speak in school. So I just taught him the basics. He's the top reader in his reading group. So that to me is a huge thing, like, oh, maybe the kindergarten club helped a lot. These kids need something to open up their minds to, and it's just a place where they can come and take advantage of all the opportunities that they offer here.
A lot of our families have crazy work hours. Sometimes their work schedule prevents them from being able to spend the time that they want helping their kids with their academics. So that's where our library comes into play. They have a homework club, and they can give them that additional boost they need.
School is really stressful, and when it comes to library, it helps me out a lot.
We have seen a tremendous amount of growth. His independence has increased.
His mentality has changed about school, and his mentality has changed about homework. The library helps him with the new technology, some other than just Xbox. He has an opportunity to help him when he graduates and gets into the real world. It gives a new generation definition to the word library.
Libraries now offer innovation. Our public library has a soundstage. You can go and record things. You can create podcasts. You can utilize technology in an innovative and novel way. Keep the innovation coming. Our kids benefit from it. This will affect their futures. And this is really what we need.
Oh, dear. Sorry.
To make sure that our kids are prepared with 21st century skills.
Is that technology, right?
We got a lot going on, right? And, you know, it's so hard to do a presentation and not, you know, you want to include everything, and we can't. And we would probably bore most of you. But we're going to wrap up by saying a couple of things. Children's programming, teen programming, adult programming. Every single day, every library in the county has multiple programs going on. And so, you know, what I want to do is kind of like blend this all in and take us to the end so we can leave a few minutes for any questions that you may have, or any comments, of course. But, you know, like I said at the beginning, I wanted you to maybe spend some time reflecting a little bit today. So, you know, when you go back to your businesses and you go back to your families, I want you to think about, as you go through your day, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? What's going on with your neighbor? What's happening within your family? What about your business? What are the issues? What are the challenges? All of those thoughts that go through your head, that's what we do. That's what we do for a living. We're always thinking about those challenges, those opportunities, and what we can do to help you. That's what the I CAN collaboration is, and that's what Ashtabula County Libraries are. So we thank you for your time, and we want to just open it up at this point in time if you have any questions or comments before you go about your day. Yes?
You remain the most enthusiastic group of professionals I've ever met.
Thank you.
We have more fun than a lot of people.
Well, that's because the secret's out. We have the best jobs. I don't know what you all do. And I've been saying y'all ever since I got back from Fargo. There's a lot of y'alls.
Well, and I had one question. Sure. What do we do with our old sets of encyclopedias?
Don't bring them to the Conneaut Public Library. Yeah. Recycle them, you know. But you bring up a really good point. You know, the World Book Encyclopedia is still a very valuable piece of information that we can be showing our children and doing reference and using those. But it exists online. And so, you know, I know at the Conneaut Public Library, Andover, many of our high schools, they have their coaches for Info Ohio. And Info Ohio is all about that online encyclopedia and a vast amount of other resources for parents and kids and families. So it exists, it just looks a little different. And you can still get it at the library.
And Fred, you can bring them. Henderson's having a book folding program where you're taking old books and folding them into these neat little decorations and things.
We're finding a use for them.
Yeah, reuse, recycle, yes.
Yes, Mr. Hockaday.
Well, thank you all for all that you do. And I know if you guys are anything like Kathy, she is everywhere and does everything. And the Conneaut Library is amazing. I worked at Muskingum College in the library for 4 years as part of my federal work-study program. Yeah, so I have a huge affinity for libraries and everything that libraries do. 15 years ago, and I'm dating myself here now, you know, the big challenge was digitization of your collections, you know, joining into OCLC or other databases so you could share your books and so on and so forth. And it was really at the start of everything becoming online, and there was a huge fear at the time, well, if it goes online, nobody's ever going to come to the library. And in fact, it's had the absolute reverse effect. And that online opened up the libraries to the community. That was 15 years ago, and the libraries and their programming is spread across so many things. 15 years from now, what do you see as the next horizon for libraries?
That's an excellent question. And I'm talking because I got the mic, but anybody else over here can talk. There's another wireless. There's another wireless over there. But you know, information comes in a variety of formats. And one thing is never going to change, and that's us. It's the humans that walk this planet. So we want to exchange information. How we exchange information will ebb and flow and change, and God only knows what's on the horizon. I don't. But the library is your barrier-free access to information. It's your God-given right to not have that taken from you. And people want to connect with each other. So you go to your library, you read your paper, you talk with your neighbor, you check out books for your children, or maybe download music. Okay, and that will look different as we move through the future, but we're all going to be the same, and we're going to want to connect with each other and share what we know.
ahead, Susan.
And libraries are free to their communities. We are not charging for every bite of information or every published work. We are the University of the People, as Cleveland Public Library calls itself too. We are a way people can learn even if they don't have 200 computers at home. And it's free.
There was a hand up. Pam?
I just have a comment. The library ladies at the Continental Public Library, if they are like this at all these other libraries, they are the most unique ones.
That was a very polite term, unique. That was nice. I like
No
it.
egos.
A problem, and there are 5 or 6 of them that are willing to jump on that and help you with anything that you are looking for.
We are.
But we love to help. That's what we do.
It's our mission.
Any other a question? And do we have a question and another comment? I don't know. Anything else from any? Yes, Julie.
Mine's kind of twofold. Is age 5 still the youngest that a child can get a part of?
No. But we're, it's birth, it's cradle to grave. So yes, get your newborn baby a library card.
The Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Yeah.
Is available free.
Yes.
Thanks to United Way, who is funding it in all the libraries in the county.
Could you speak for a moment about the Dolly Parton Imagination
Can
Library?
I do that one?
Yes, you do it.
Serving on the United Way board now, I think I better stand up, right, Fred? The Dolly Parton Imagination Library is a program we started, I believe, 3 years ago now, if I'm not mistaken. And the United Way is funding this wonderful program, and the child receives a free book every month from age 0 to 5. So they have their own library collection by the time they're 5 years old. And why is this important? There are daunting statistics out there that children do not have a book at home of their reading level, if a book at all. And I can't remember, it was over 60%. So, it's such an important program, and libraries will always be about literacy and about children. So when you ask about where we'll be in 15 years, there are some core things that will always stay the same, and that is definitely one of them.
Very good.
All right, we had another question over here. Penny Neubauer is here, Ashtabula County District Library. She is their new director. And the ICANN libraries are, like we said, independently cooperating Ashtabula network. And so we are on our CleveNet operating system. And so that's the glue that glues us together, because when you search our card catalog, you're searching out of my walls and into their walls and right into Cleveland Public and beyond. So, but we have found ways to collaborate and to give great savings to Ashtabula County. Yes, there's Ashtabula County District Library, and they have the Geneva Public Library, and there's also Grand Valley, and so they're South County.
Could I address that just for a moment? Because we get that question a lot. Why aren't we part of CleveNet? Because actually, the county libraries were one cohesive group, I think, before 2008, and there was a falling out. I wasn't here, so I'm not taking any blame. I've been here just about 2 years and really want to be an instrument of healing. So if you're praying people, you might go that direction. And we've got a really good start here. But when the ICANN group got together and wanted to move to Ashtabula, to move everybody to Cleveland, whole county, Ashtabula County District Library was part of those discussions. And there was a reason why we did it. And there's a reason why we may never. And the reason is because our ILS system, the system that allows you to check books in and out, is used by the high schools, all of the high schools and some of the junior highs in the county. And that was something that CleveNet was not willing to pick up. So if Ashtabula had gone to CleveNet, the school libraries would have had to find another way to operate their libraries. And there are other ways, but they're not free. And right now, Ashtabula County District Library offers that service to all the county schools for free. And one of the really wonderful benefits is that some of you may know that Lakeside High School closed its doors to the library. It was a beautiful library full of an incredible collection, probably the largest collection of teen literature in the county. was not available to students anymore because they couldn't fund personnel to run the library. They had someone, I think 2 years ago was the last that they had someone in there, and they were just like actually she took a different job and now she's a lunch lady. So that was the level of, I don't know the woman, so it's not a reflection on her. But we are currently, Lakeside High School is ready to reopen those doors, and it's because they can come to us. We are providing support. We've sent our IT person over there to help set up checkout. We have uploaded all of their students into our system, so within a month we will be adding 1,000 students. We'll now have library cards. We're going to send our support staff. We have 9 professional librarians on our staff. We can send a team librarian to do programming to help, to work with the teachers. And that's not something that we would be able to do if we had moved to Cleveland. And so, on the surface, it just looks like a no-brainer. Why wouldn't we move to Cleveland? It's a wonderful system, award-winning. It would bring cohesiveness of we'll pick something up in Pontiac and bring it back to Those are all wonderful benefits. But studies have shown that the schools that have libraries, that have access to librarians, have better performing students. And so our passion is to, we are more of their libraries, the smaller libraries need a smaller community. And the Ashtabula County kind of picks up where they don't. So they show that map at the beginning. You can see that Ashtabula's system is just all over the county. So there are reasons why we haven't, why we didn't move. Another big reason was we were at the 3rd year of a 5-year contract. So breaking a contract really isn't wise. So we have, I think we have 1 more year of that contract. So I hope that because only 2 counties aren't on Ohio. Understand it's not because we don't want to cooperate. It's because we have kind of a different view and a different thing that we're trying to accomplish.
That's great. Thanks, Penny. I know we're running really short on time, so I want to thank everyone. And unless we have any other announcements or what have you want the mic now?
No, I want to say this, typical styles, I always joke that if there's a microphone in the room, I want it. So, very good. But thank you for a wonderful, wonderful presentation today. Part of our intent was to really understand as a community how accessible libraries are and the incredible work that's being done. Take a moment before you leave if you want to check out any of the items on the table here and really see what's being done in our library. I know there are tons of resources out there to see their events and the different things that they do, and it really is incredible. Some of our schools and different groups refer to their libraries now as the multimedia center, a knowledge center, and they truly are that. They can be so many things to our community. We're truly appreciative of your time today. I mean, when I called the group and said, hey, would you like to present a profile? There was a resounding, absolutely, we'll be there, and we're bringing more. So, which was really great. Looking forward to the month of December as well. Our speaker in the month of December is Donnie Chaplin from Grand River Rubber. So we're going to hear a lot about what Grand River Rubber is doing now presently and for the future, and really look forward to hearing from him. And go Tribe. It's a big night tonight. So thank you all for being here, and enjoy your day.